And well, with that in mind, let's jump into our next segment, which is worship with Pastor Ricky Trinidad.
Yellow.
Red.
Blue.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Say that 3 times fast, backwards.
Well, today we're going to talk about the repertoire.
The repertoire.
The repertoire.
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 Yeah, it's a French word, repertoire,
Tar.
which means basically
So you're cussing?
You
speaking in French.
you
Yes.
speaking
Yes.
French? Oh.
French fries. What?
Do you guys know that there's a famous singer named Hector Perez?
It's not Hector Lavoe?
No. But it's funny you say Hector Lavoe because Lavoe is a French word for singer. And so Hector Perez, a famous salsa singer, was going to, have a record label with Fania All-Stars. And the guy said, hey, Hector Perez is just like John Doe or John Smith. How about if we change your last name to Lavoe, the singer? And so he became the famous singer, Hector Lavoe.
Oh.
The voice, the singer. French.
And what kind of songs did he sing?
Well, funny you mentioned that. It's pagan songs.
No, there's one. There's one that has. I remember it. How's it go? El Todopoderoso es el Señor. El Todopoderoso es el Señor.
And you know why he sang that song, right?
No, I do not know.
He was, that was his first, when he literally gave up his drug addiction to heroin and just leave it to the side. He kind of just dedicated himself to the music, but he gave praise to God because if it wasn't for him, he was not able to leave away from the drugs.
So when he left heroin aside, he said, El Todopoderoso es el Señor. El Todopoderoso es el Señor.
Wah, 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 wah.
So the repertoire, or the compilation of songs that you choose to use for your worship setting.
Oh.
A lot of the there's 2 big questions I get when it comes to songs.
How big?
2 big ones.
Well, they're very long. But the first one pretty much is said, how do you choose your songs?
How do you do it?
How do you pick your songs, what you're going to sing?
How do you pick them?
I know.
How do you do it?
You would go into iTunes,
Yes.
go under the genre, Christian, and then select the song.
And if you select salsa, you get El Todopoderoso es el Señor.
Wah, 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 wah.
El Todopoderoso es el Señor.
Wah, 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 wah.
The second question is, how often should you introduce a new song? And how do you do that?
That's a good question.
That is a tough one because we
So-
get that a lot at our church.
Yeah, I get that question all the time.
Believe it or not.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
They're saying, why do we sing almost a new song every week? Because they feel that. But that's not the case. I don't remember singing a song last week. And why is Pastor Ricky introducing us to another song while we've yet to learn the other song?
Oh.
Very good question.
Good question. Excellent question.
Excellent.
Good job.
So let's do the first one.
Thank you.
So the first one is your repertoire,
Your repertoire.
or how do you make a list for a Sunday?
How do you do it?
Well, first of all, pray.
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 Really? That's a foreign concept there.
You know, some people, you
Pray.
believe it or not, I've known a lot of worship leaders to say, "Oh, let's just sing a song that people like," and as opposed to, let's just pray about what's going to go on here. And there's a lot of things to pray about. Well, Lord, what are you going to be ministering about? The second thing, what's the word about? What's the speaker? Who's going to preach? What are they speaking about? What's the topic? What's the theme of the song?
Very important.
And that's very important because, as you know, our God is a God of order. He does everything in order, and He's not going to take people on all kinds of roller coasters that go all over the place. But it's the best way to communicate with people is to all be on the same page. Remember that the person who's bringing the word is the one that God is using to bring that word, the word that's going to edify, build up His people. And our job is to be alongside Him and to make sure that we're helping Him and not guiding these people away.
That would be like coming up to a Sunday and saying, so, what should I preach about today? Let me open my Bible to 1 Corinthians chapter 11. Oh, I'll talk about love because everybody likes to talk about love. And I'll just preach that without even praying about it. I'll just preach about it.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty close. I mean, because you don't want to just a lot of times people just pick something that they think everyone likes, everyone's gonna sing to, because a lot of times we consider success as the way people say, "Oh, I like that song." Okay, but we got to make sure that we're agreeing with the pastor, we're agreeing with the person who's bringing the word, and we're moving all the same direction, because that's how the Lord works. And we want to set up, if you want, quote unquote, to say the ambiance, so that people understand that we're all on the same page. We're communicating the same message. We're not on different pages about things. So number one, pray. Number two, find out what's going to be preached about. What's the word for the day?
Number one, pray. Number two, find out what the subject is.
Right,
yes.
what the subject or the theme is going to be. And here at Fado, we're privileged to have a pastor who tells us months in advance what a series is going to be called. So we have an idea what's going to go on.
I wouldn't call that months. It's like a century before.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a while. And then not only that, but we get the actual sermon that he's going to be preaching the Wednesday before we actually sing the songs that we're going to be singing. So that's a huge advantage. And maybe some pastors don't do that. And I've had that question. Well, what do you do if the pastors don't do it? Well, ask them. And don't be afraid to challenge your pastor to be thinking ahead of time about what's going to be preached that day. And I encouraged worship leaders to ask their pastor, what are you going to be preaching about? Because we want to bring songs that are going to be inspiring people to move that direction, so that when you go up to people are already thinking about that. For instance, the series that Pastor Josh is preaching now is the series of hope. And so we want to sing songs that talk about hope, and that theme about hope. So a lot of times people have struggle finding out songs that go along with hope. And we use the resource called worshipteam.com.
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 It's a great resource, and that's where I communicate with the worship team through this website. And what it is it's a list of songs, that contemporary songs, old songs. People add them. You can add your own songs, and it has MP3 versions of the songs embedded within it.
Oh, sick!
So it's a pretty amazing resource. You can type up theme, and there's a bunch of themes that I believe it's like 50 themes that you can choose from. You click on it, click on hope, and a repertoire of songs, a bunch of songs come up just like in the air, just like here. And
I thought you were living in a virtual world.
I am. I like Minority Report. You know how
Yes.
how he just like scans in the air like that.
Right.
That's how I picture myself doing. And,
Right.
But even though there's no computer around here, except
Right.
for the ones that we have recording us.
Huh? Yeah, that's a computer.
That is a computer. The one watching us. Hey guys. So use worshipteam.com. You can click on theme hope, and it'll pop up a lot of songs. I mean, thousands of songs in that theme. So you want to go along with the theme. So you got prayer. Number one, prayer.
Number two,
you got to go along with the theme.
Number three,
how do you order them? Well, funny that you mentioned that, because
I answer my own questions.
you want to make sure things flow. Things are going easily. Things are traveling easily as you go, because
flow like Drano.
Flow like Drano. Yeah, because music could be a roller coaster. If you're not careful. So you want to make sure you're going, you're not only same direction in the message, but the same direction musically as well. So what we do is, the first thing I do is I pray, obviously. Number two, I think about the theme that we're singing about. And once I have those songs in front of me, the titles of those songs, then I figure out the keys that they're in. I figure out the keys or the tones that we'll be singing in. Who will be singing that day? So I think about our instrumentation. Will we be having guitars or just one guitar? Will it be just acoustic? Will there be a drummer? Will it be a piano? Can I change the song up so that it matches our instrumentation? Do I rearrange the song? Who's going to be singing? What keys should we sing in? So there are all these things to think about. But key is very important, because you want to sing songs that are similar in keys or have an easier way to go into them. Keys that make sense. If they can all be in the same key, that's preferred, because now everyone's thinking. Everyone can hear and think about that tone, that note that it's in, and at the end of that list, you're gonna come up with a minimal list, and then you can, at that point, you can pick whichever one you want, and you're pretty much got a good set going. Because 1, you prayed about it. 2, you're matching up the theme. 3, you're matching up the keys, and you can connect it as you want and flow in any way. And at that point, whatever you put into that set is going to be a great set.
Nice.
Point.
Taken.
Set.
Well.
Match.
Game.
Done.
The next question we talked about is new songs.
New songs.
New songs.
Yeah, I heard of it. I heard of a church called New Song.
New song. Yeah, that's a church.
And
as
I
well.
went and they were singing all songs.
Hay muchas formas de alabar su nombre. Y esa tarde, oh Jehová.
Actually, they weren't singing that song.
Oh, no,
They
that's
were
a no
singing,
song.
El Todopoderoso es el Señor. El Todopoderoso.
Es el Señor.
Oh, wah, 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 wah.
So when you're looking for a new song, you gotta to include in your repertoire. That would come along when you're talking about a theme. If you run into a theme and there's a song you've heard and there's a song you've heard and you want to include it in there,
Right.
it's always a good idea to introduce a new song. Now, how do you introduce it? Well, I got ideas from Paul Belush on YouTube, and I don't know him personally. This is on YouTube. YouTube. What do you call those things?
A video.
Video.
Conference.
No.
Training.
Training.
Podcast?
Maybe. No, it was a video on YouTube.
A video cast.
No, he called it
An interview.
No.
A song. A
Just
conversation.
call it instructional video.
Instructional video.
I was going to say documentary.
No, instructional video.
Mockumentary.
Yeah. Instructional
A
video.
story.
No, instructional video.
Instructional video
movie.
it is.
No, instructional video.
MP3.
No. Because then that would be just audio.
So you saw him.
Yeah, he was on there,
Okay.
and he talked about introducing new songs, and I thought it was pretty interesting. He suggested to tell the people, hey, this is a new song, and sing a part of the song with them. Maybe like I play acoustic, and if we're gonna introduce a new song, for example, when we introduced Your Name, I jumped on the guitar and I sang I said this is a new song, and we're gonna sing it together. We'll sing the chorus together, so you can learn the song. And I sang along with my guitar, I was playing, and I sang the chorus with them, and they started singing along. Then we started the whole song from the top, from the beginning of the song, and as we played, we got to the chorus, and everyone started singing along, like if they had known it forever, And so that's what we do for the most part. Now, it gets a little tough. For instance, with the song that we sang, we introduced a new song this week, and that song is called "Everlasting God," and in parentheses, we set our hope on you. And that was kind of difficult, that arrangement, but it was so easy and it's repetitive that as you're singing it, you encourage people to sing along with you and tell them this scripture is part of scripture, so that they know. Now, how often do you sing it? What I do is I sing the same song. If I introduce a new song, I will sing it for 3 weeks in a row, so that by the third time people know the song. So by the third time people are getting used to the song, understanding the song. Now, as worshipers, Paul Belush also said this. He says, worshipers, you got to understand this. A lot of times, we will get tired of a song before other people will. We'll sing a song maybe 3 or 4 times, and for us, oh, that song's dead. They killed it already.
When you mean for us, you mean as a worship leader,
Worshipers,
as a worshiper.
Yeah, as people who sing, who like music. Because you got to think about the number of times you've practiced it, the number of times you went through it during rehearsal. While you come in here and you go into service, they've only heard it once. Well, you played it once, but you've actually heard it, 20, 30 times because you're practicing and you're rehearsing it and things like that. So you're trying to memorize the song. So we do it at least 3 weeks so that people start to know the song. We also, if you guys, if you're not doing preludes in your church, which is like a musical, something instrumental before service starts, which we used to do it here, or we're used to doing here, I should say. That's a good thing, because what we do is, if we're going to introduce a new song, we will play it instrumentally beforehand so that people are walking in and they're listening to the melody, or they can hear the key changes. They're getting used to the song. Even though it's a new song, when we get to singing it, they say, "Oh, I've heard this before," and they didn't realize that it was something they were walking into. So,
nice.
So that's the repertoire.
That's the repertoire. And how important it is to do a prelude. How important is it?
I think it sets the tone. Maybe if you don't have, even if you don't have great musicians, I think they could put something together easily. It sets the tone for people as they're walking in. So it's not just a CD, but they're getting used to the sound. So it sets the tone. It's really important. And again, I think it's even more important, especially when you're introducing new songs, to play that, because people are getting used to that new song. So doesn't catch them by surprise.
And other than it being played, is there another purpose of doing a prelude?
No, just to set the tone. I mean, it's a good time to show off your skills. You know,
nice.
It's a good time to show the talent that the Lord has given people. You know, there's no problem with that. Some people may have issues with that, but David says, "Hey, let's play and sing to the Lord skillfully."
Right.
So there's nothing wrong with being good. In fact, because it's for the Lord and for His people, we should be good at what we're doing. And so, but if any chance you get to show what the Lord has, what you have worked hard and the talent that God has given you, I find no problem with that. And it's great to show, the guitar player that just has an awesome gift and put him out there.
Right. And it's a good way to let people, worshipers, people that are coming to church, let them know, hey, church is going to start, because we love to talk. We love to have a coffee. We love to eat our donuts. And so once the music is playing, church is starting. Yeah. So it's another way to also really let people know.
Yeah, very, very good. And now that you mentioned that, it's funny because we find ourselves a lot of time praying prelude, and people stand up and start singing along with us, and we're doing the prelude. They haven't figured out that church hasn't started yet. No one has welcomed anybody. No one has talked. It's just the instruments playing, and we're just jamming, having fun, praising the Lord, and people think, "Oh, the service must have started already," and they even stand up and start clapping, things like that, but we haven't started service, and it prepares them. You're right, it does prepare them for the service and getting ready to start.
Something that we learn in spiritual disciplines is that one must prepare their hearts and their minds, and even their bodies to worship God. We come from busy weeks. If you're married, you got children. In the morning, you got kids running around, getting ready to go to church, make it on time. And so you got your brain running 1,000 miles per hour. Your heart is in a million places. And so when you come into the house of God, it's good to have a good prelude or a good time of prayer to just simply quiet your spirit, to just slow down and prepare your soul, prepare your mind, even your body to worship before the Lord. And many times the prelude can do that for you as well.
Man, I like it.
Amen. I like this. So if you're a church, if you're a worship leader, or you're struggling with some areas of how to set up a list, an order of service, that kind of gives you an idea where to start off with. Prayer, always do that. Always seek the Lord, but bring it around with the topic, and then find out the order of a flow of songs. And worshipteam.com is a great resource for you guys to jump into that. So make sure you do that. Thank you, Ricky, for that great resource. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. With that in mind, let's jump into Tech Talk.
That you don't stop, baby.
Tech Talk.
That you don't stop, baby.